You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access Television's coverage of Roper Cup 2019. It's the annual football festival between Kingston College and St. George's College. We're coming to you from the Stadium East Field, where we will be bringing you highlights from an exciting day of football. I'm your host, Kenil Gale. Stick around. Joining me now to kick off our coverage is Dr. Patrick Dallas. He is the chair of the Roper Cup 2019 Organizing Committee. Dr. Dallas, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Access Television. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and you're most welcome. And thank you for being here to be part of this great football festival called Roper Cup.
All right, awesome. Let's start by telling our viewers a little bit about the Roper Cup. Give us some background in terms of the genesis of the Roper Cup and the reason the festival is so important to Kingston College and St. George's College.
Well, Roper Cup is symbolic of that friendly rivalry between two great institutions on North Street, Kingston College and St. George's College. This Roper Cup competition goes back to 1964. It's named after Father Jack Roper, who was a Jesuit priest at St. George's, and our founder of Kingston College, that is Percival William Gibson. He actually is a old boy of St. George's College, and we have managed to keep that link between two institutions. We are, we're rivals on the field, but we are very good friends. And the enduring part about Roper Cup and why we want this to continue is because it is important to show that we can be rivals and friends. So, as I said, it started 1964, so this is really the 56th renewal of the Roper Cup. And this year, Kingston College hosting. We alternate host for the Roper Cup competition. One of the important things about this year too, one of the attractive thing about this year too, is that the final match, which is usually the Manning Cup match, is really a replay of last year's Manning Cup final. Right. So we expect to get a lot of interest in this. We expect people to come out and see this as a dress rehearsal for the season that is coming up.
For the season that's coming up, which should be a renewal of the intense rivalry. But talk to me, you said the Manning Cup match will be ending the proceedings this evening. Talk to me about the other divisions that happened today.
Okay, we started with under 14, and Kingston College won that 4-1. We then had the under 16. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Kingston College won 4-1 again. Then we went into the under 35, and that was a 1-all draw. And the over 35 ended again in the 2-all draw. Well, it's interesting because the George Thompson Cup is decided on the aggregate score of the under 14 and under 16. Right. And then the Roper Cup itself is decided on the under 35 and the Manning Cup scores, the aggregate scores. The Pancho Ranking Cup is the over 35. So that cup will be shared.
This is very significant to Kingston College and St. George's College boys, whether present or old boys. Just tell me why do you think it is so significant to the past students, the present students?
Yes, because this is two institutions that have great reputation in football in tradition and always strong teams. So we always see this as a last match before the real season begins, where we can use this match. Both teams see this as the opportunity where they have a final match before the competition starts against another strong team. So it's very important because both teams can use this to gauge where they are in the competition.
Joining me now is a man they call Coolie Pele. I'll allow him to tell you his right name.
Well, popularly called, and affectionately so, I take no offense to it, Cooley Pele, but my given name is Derek Denisser, also called Shastri, from my Kingston College days. So it's Derek Shastri Denisser. And the fans call me all kind of things, whether they are rooting for me or against me. But I've learned that KC not to resist any names given to you, but to just smile and go on.
And with the KC St. George's College rivalry, they probably have called a lot of things in the days, right?
Yes, a lot of things, affectionately so. And I've grown from when I was a player to a past player to now working with a company that sponsors the competition. And it's been friendly rivalry over the years. The Europa Cup is really the longest traditional feud or rivalry between high school at the football level. And we welcome it every year. The St. Georgians look forward to it. They tease us, they say our headmaster went there and the cup is named after a Georgian. And we tell them that they may be twice as old as us, but we are twice as good as they are.
Talk to me about the importance of the Europa Cup in building not just the rivalry, but the brotherhood between these gentlemen going to these schools.
Well, the rivalry is very important. These are two great traditional institutions, and the tenets and principles that they uphold and have dear to their heart, we try to transmit that to the wider society. Honesty, character, good building. Rivalry and sport, yes, but the aim of Bishop Gibson was to build good men for the wider society so that all of us in the end can benefit. Education is paramount, but then physical activity, a good healthy body with a good healthy mind are as well for the success of the society.
Talk to me about moving from being a player to being a national player to now being involved with the organization and sponsorship of the Europa Cup.
Well, you move on as with age, you are not able to do what you would like to do physically, but mentally you still have a desire so to do. But not being able to do it, we impart it to the young and upcoming youngsters who, I was like them once, and we try to tell them that one day they'll be like us, God willing, they live forever. And to live not only for today, but to live with eternity in view, what we do and say now, and the principles and the values that we are teaching them. These are values that on the road of life, they can guide them and they avoid pitfalls and make the best of their best situation. But primarily for the youngsters still in school, the rivalry is intense. With age and memories, it diminishes, but the values that we hold there, that never diminishes.
Talk to me about coming on as a sponsor. Why did Qualcare decided to come on as a sponsor for the Europa Cup?
Well, Qualcare, it's a quality product, and we wanted to introduce the drink to the athletic population. It's a good quality drink. In trust is nutrition you can trust, and that is where our interest is. It's primarily Qualcare, the parent company, is primarily a pharmaceutical company. But they say an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And with good nutrition, you can delay the onset of illnesses that would otherwise occur. So in trust, nutrition you can trust. And Qualcare is proud to be associated with the Europa Cup.
KC has done pretty well so far in the other divisions that have gone so far, with the over 35 still happening now and the Manning Cup matches to come. Who are you betting on?
Well, I'm not a betting man. My heart is with Kingston College, unapologetically so. But more important is for the fraternity, the St. George's and the KC fraternity, to come together, have a good time. I say at the launch, the organizer of this year's competition said it's unparalleled or unheard of anywhere else in the world. Not only Jamaica, where two such great institutions are less than 100 meters apart, and that is Kingston College on the southern side and St. George's on the northern side. But we are two great institutions and we work well together, not only in sports, but also in Labor Day we do joint projects together, pedestrian crossings, and activities that are not necessarily in the limelight, but are just as important as building friendship and friendly rivalry.
So it's more than just rivalry, it's brotherhood.
Yes, of course, because in the end when we leave school, we have to live with each other, and both institutions, our primary aim is to build good gentlemen with sound manners and know how to cooperate with each other, and that should augur well for the wider society.
joining me now to talk a little bit about his match is the MVP from the under-35 division of the competition, Sanjay Mathura. He plays for St. George's College. Sanjay, welcome to Business Access Television. How are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks for having me.
All right, great. Tell us a little bit about your match today.
Well, my match was very competitive, sun was hot and an enjoyable game.
You scored the goal, so you were the MVP. That makes you feel a little special, right?
Yeah, very special, because it was a wonderful goal, awesome goal from the top of the 18, watching the ball go into the top corner, so it was a very special moment.
What does playing in the Europa Cup means to you as an individual player?
Well, I always display a lot of passion for the blue and white, so it's always good rivalry with KC, although we're brothers across the street, but it's a great deal of history and a lot of football games between each other and very competitive games, glory and defeat, so it means a lot.
Do you think the rivalry between Kingston College and St. George's College makes each team stronger?
Definitely, it makes each team stronger because each year, one winning, one losing or drawing, everybody learns from it and we move forward in our competition.
If somebody is asking why, because you're in the under 35 division, and I figure when you become over 35, you will want to still be playing. For those who are asking, why do you continue to do this?
Well, it's the love of the game, the passion and the love for your school, and you come out and have fun on this day, you come to Stadium East or if it's at George's, and you just come out and have fun, and you see old friends from way back when. It's just fun.
So it's a day of building brotherhood and camaraderie and all of that?
Yes, year after year, because it's already there, so it's just year after year continuing the structure and everything that's good about this day and the Europa Cup.
You played several Europa Cups. Tell me, what was one of your most memorable moments over the years?
Well, I'll definitely remember this one because I scored, but there's so many moments. I could go on and on to tell you, but there's a lot of good Europa Cups that I've been through.
This event epitomizes what true spirit of friendly rivalry is about. And we hope that the camaraderie between the right side of North Street and the other side of North Street will continue.
We take a break here on Business Access Television's coverage of Europa Cup 2019. More when we return.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com. Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of Europa Cup 2019. We're in the final segment of our highlights package, and the Manny Cup match is on the field. That's between Kingston College and St. George's College. Let's check out some highlights. So we caught up with another MVP. This time it's the MVP for the under-16 division of the competition, Jaheim Johnson. Now he scored 3 goals in KC's 3-1 win over St. George's. Congratulations, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, how's the match for you?
It was very hard because I have a shoulder injury. I just stayed in the match and do what our coach said.
Hold on, so that's shoulder injury. You scored 3 goals. So if you have the shoulder injury, how much goal did you score?
I don't really know. I just go there and did my best.
What was it like beating St. George's?
It was very challenging, and it just boosts my confidence to go in the competition and do my best.
Being a part of something with such great tradition such as the Europa Cup, what does it mean for you as a young player being a part of this, where you see so many players from years gone by? You have the Manning Cup team participating, you have masters who are over 35 participating, and you in your own right standing out. How does that make you feel?
That made me feel very happy to see the legend of KC playing, and plus myself playing amongst my opponents, St. George's, and my teammates. Made me feel very happy.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the future. You're a young player with a bright future. What are your plans? I assume you're playing Colts now, so you want to move on to Manning Cup and probably the national team?
Yes, that's my future, to play for Jamaica, to represent my country.
And what would that mean for you to don the colours of Jamaica?
It would mean a lot to me because I'm trying from I was 12 years old playing under 30. I'm doing it for me, my dad, and my family.
Matthew Wilson now joins us. He's the MVP for the under-14 division of today's Europa Cup 2019. Matthew, thanks so much for joining us here on Business Access. How are you?
I'm great.
All right, tell us a little bit about your match. KC won 4-1.
Yeah. Match is very great, kind of competitive most of the times, but I still pull through great.
All right, I take it your teammates were happy with the victory and being victorious over St. George's?
Yes, we're very pleased with the victory and the performance.
To tell me a little bit about your personal feelings, or how do you feel to be a part of the Europa Cup 2019?
I feel very great be a part of Europa Cup because it's a nice competition to play. It's great.
Last season, you're a part of Kingston College Pepsi team. Last season, you guys did pretty well. You're looking forward to the next season and doing better?
Last year, I wasn't playing much game because I was injured. So this year, I'm looking forward to do a great job.
We're now here with Shantamoy Taylor. He is the MVP of the Manning Cup match, and he's representing St. George's College. Shantamoy, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Access Television. How was the match for you?
The match was a great match. I played in patches, but I delivered to my team.
Walk me through the entire game and going up against Kingston College. How were you feeling?
I was feeling a little nervous coming out in the game while the game was playing, and then I started to relax and play my game.
Was it difficult playing against Kingston College? No, well, they had lots of supporters here, so was that at all intimidating?
Yeah, a little bit because a lot of fans and being nice and talking. Okay.
Looking forward to the Manning Cup season. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting to play to more quality and play some good football.
And that's how we wrap up our highlights package of Europa Cup 2019, the football festival between Kingston College and St. George's College from the Stadium East Field. I'm your host, Kenil Gale. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. Pleasant viewing.
Evelyn Harris is a maroon healer in Jamaica. She has spent decades making a living from her knowledge of Jamaican plants and their healing properties. The products she makes from these plants are in constant demand, and she's happy to be able to help others. She is symbolic of many persons in the Caribbean whose traditional knowledge is a rich and often unacknowledged resource.
You have to be curious to learn about herbs. This is dog's blood, and this one is good for infection or black tube. And this one is piaba, and the piaba is what good for women who's going through menopause.
She, like many others in the region, can share stories of how her knowledge has contributed to research without being properly credited or compensated. But all that will change as more Caribbean countries are getting on board with a Nagoya Protocol that will protect knowledge held by persons like Evelyn and will serve to preserve the natural resources she depends on. The Nagoya Protocol is an international agreement that focuses on the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits from the sustainable use of genetic resources. It is an agreement that researchers and prospective business developers that use the Caribbean's natural resources need to be aware of.
The Caribbean region has an abundant variety of marine and terrestrial biodiversity, including a high number of endemic species of flora and fauna. This richness is combined with a mix of cultures and traditional knowledge. Also, it is clear that Caribbean countries recognize the importance of their unique genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge, and at the same time know that sharing the benefits of the utilization of these resources can be a way to protect the rich natural resources and bring prosperity to Caribbean people.
The International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, in partnership with the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, is working with regional governments, research institutions, and other partners in the Caribbean to support countries to promote the sustainable use of the region's resources.
The needs are envisioned at 3 levels. One is at local levels, working with local communities and indigenous groups. The second level is the national level, working mainly with government and key line agencies that are going to be somehow responsible to implement the protocol, that have competencies according to the national law and the international legislation. And the third level is the regional level, working with CARICOM, for example, with OECS, other regional bodies like tourism organizations or other pertinent bodies that has responsibilities as well in the provision of the Nagoya Protocol.
Regulations will also be established for prior informed consent to access resources and the negotiation of mutually agreed terms to maximize the benefits of the protocol.
The Nagoya Protocol specifically deals with the issue of access to genetic resources and the sharing of the benefits that are gained from those resources. Now, if you think about the issue of sustainable development, if you think about the issue of natural resource management, it is necessary for these countries, who in most cases are small island developing states or developing countries, they need resources to be able to protect these natural resources that we have, these genetic resources. And so any avenue that is going to assist with making sure that some of these benefits come back in order to sustainably use these resources is something that the IUCN is always interested in providing.
The Bahamas, for example, is a hotspot for access to genetic resources for research and development. But only in one case of successful commercialization has benefit sharing with a country on the basis of an ABS contract took place.
There is a soft coral, which is a wavy coral. It's harvested annually in the Bahamas. And an extract from that was the first source of chemicals which are used today in skin revitalizing anti-aging creams. One of the researchers from the University of California came to the Bahamas and discovered a class of compounds which have anti-inflammatory properties. Later on, over 100 products in the world have been developed from the extracts from this coral.
For practitioners such as Dr. Sylvia Mitchell, the protocol will change the way how local communities and indigenous people like the Amerindians, Maroons, and Rastafarians operate.
The indigenous and local communities have to be part of the process. A very important part that the Nagoya Protocol recognizes in this whole value chain is that there are local indigenous communities all over the biodiversity-rich areas that have, over many, many generations, developed recipes. And when you develop products in the end, many, many years later, creams, anti-cancer, whatever, many times that traditional knowledge has been taken into account, but it doesn't filter back to those local communities.
Several Caribbean countries have already started putting in the framework to benefit from the implementation of the Nagoya Protocol. In Guyana, certain key steps have been taken.
Guyana already had a system in place with regards to granting access to its genetic resources. And that system is basically done through the Environmental Protection Agency. We're the agency responsible for granting all access to persons coming into the country to do research. If persons want to enter a specific community to access a specific resource, they have to get the consent of that community. When that consent is received, what they do is they have to submit that to, we have Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. And they would usually issue official permission saying the community has no objection with this person coming in to do such and such. When we have that, then we would issue our permit.
For Antigua and Barbuda, much has already been done, as these islands are in the process of depositing their ratification instrument.
This project will allow us to develop our regulations, to develop our policy, to set up our institutional infrastructure to now manage the issues. We don't know when any genetic materials and the associated traditional knowledge are being taken out of the country. We're not aware. It's only those people who will inform certain agencies or certain government agencies that they're taking them out. That only happens occasionally. But in instituting this Nagoya Protocol, in instituting our ABS regulations and policy, we'll be able to finally have a system to regulate this process.
The Nagoya Protocol is helping to preserve traditional knowledge that could be lost as elders die.
Over a period of time, people will come there, people have their complaints, people want to be treated for some ailments or whatever, and people will just come to folks who do what they have to do for them, but not necessarily telling them, you know, what is it I have done for you. Okay, if you come, you have a problem with your belly or your back or your shoulder or whatever, you will get the treatment for it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna know all the ingredients and stuff that goes into it. And even sometimes if people would probably show to you, you might see an ingredient or two that they use, but it would be probably the least important of the ingredient that you would have seen.
As the Caribbean embraces new opportunities to benefit from our biological resources, we look to the future.
I represent 11 parishes across the island which have a membership about 5,000. These are traditional farmers who have been growing marijuana illegally for years. Now that we are on the way to have a formal industry, we are working hard to allow standards to fit their needs as grassroots people while working with governments and agencies across the world.
The Nagoya Protocol is opening doors for Caribbean people.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox, and you are watching Business Access.
Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. This week, we have a very informative show lined up just for you as we tackle topics relating to safety and public order. You don't want to miss a beat, so stay tuned as the magazine unfolds.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Today we're joined by Superintendent of Police Gary McKenzie as he discusses matters of public safety and public order.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, 1 year ago launched the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Now, the objective is to improve the safety of citizens as well as restore and to maintain public order. To tell us about the measures being used to curb the indiscipline on our roads and in the public spaces in general is Gary McKenzie, who is Superintendent of Police in the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. SP McKenzie, thank you so much for joining us and Get the Facts.
Thank you for having me today.
So that's a big title that your department has, your branch. Tell us, what do you mean by public order and safety? What are we talking about here?
Well, what we are talking about as we speak about safety is it is all encompassing because it says that we are responsible to ensure that citizens are able to go about their business safely. That is, we have to ensure that they come to no harm. And the branch itself looks at dealing with this on the roadways within business districts, within other public areas such as transportation hubs and so on. As it relates to order, this has to be done within an organized way. And so in terms of managing traffic flow, in terms of ensuring that their citizens come to no harm whilst they do their business, that is what we are about.
Excellent. So tell me about some of the measures that you use to achieve order and safety.
Well, certainly enforcement plays a big role, but even before we do that, ensuring that we are out there being visible, putting on this management posture and ensuring that persons recognize what we are about is very important. Mm-hmm. And this, of course, increase the confidence that the public will have as it relates to how we police. Once things are not in order, then we have to take control, we have to educate, we have to enforce the laws where necessary to ensure that this is maintained.
How do you educate?
Well, certainly we do that through media. We do that through collaboration with other entities. We have our road safety unit that goes within schools. We also go within communities. Of course, we collaborate with other geographic entities or widely publicized meetings, stakeholder meetings, and so on. So we educate persons through those media.
What are some of the violations that pedestrians, people general in open spaces and on the road, what are some of the violations that people can be ticketed for?
Well, as it relates to pedestrians, we really can't take any, law enforcement action in terms of issuance of tickets. But what we find is that we have quite a few accidents involving pedestrians because of lack of proper usage on our roads, meaning that they sometimes cross at corners in front and behind large vehicles. And so education is key in terms of ensuring that our pedestrians understand how to use the road safely. There are other breaches committed by drivers of motor vehicles in that they fail to observe and stop at pedestrian crossings. Some are very discourteous, and so where they commit breaches, we prosecute. For example, if they fail to observe and stop at a pedestrian crossing, that is an offense, and we deal with that. But our vigilance and enforcement helps to ensure that persons are able to safely use our thoroughfare.
Yes, yes. When PSEB was launched last August, it was National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said that you had a few roles that he wanted you to zero in, such as limiting access to roadways of criminals, also to cut down road accidents and track the threat of criminals. How is that going? How do you grade yourself on those?
Well, I think
areas?
that we have had a substantial effect, certainly within the Kingston and region. We have been able to occupy our main supply routes, and by virtue of our presence, and when we speak about presence, we speak of active presence. So our vehicular checkpoints, our patrol of the areas, our checking of documents and licenses, running it through our police emergency to check for warrants, to check if these persons are wanted, have allowed us to deter the movement of criminals. We continue to do that. Of course, it is very important to note that at PSTEB, there are a number of strategies that we use, and that, of course, includes our motorcycle patrols, that we deal with traffic management, interception of vehicles. We also have our foot patrols within the public spaces, such as the business districts. We have our highway safety patrols, and we have our bicycle patrols as well to go in and out.
You still have bicycle patrols? I'm not seeing those.
We do. And so we continue to use those methodologies to support and assist within our very tight areas in terms of where the public traverse.
You did say something about major supply routes? What
Right.
are those?
Well, those routes are really our main arterial roads where we have commercial activities, we have the movement of buses and so on. So these routes are very important to us as a country because they traffic vehicles that carry supplies in and out of the corporate area and across the country. Criminals like to use speed to move about and so on. So we slow them down this way, and we continue to use other strategies to ensure that persons are safe.
Okay, unruly drivers, illegal taxi drivers, illegal stopping, illegal starting. What methods are you using to address these issues?
Well, there are a multiplicity of methods that we use. One is that our presence out there deters some of them. We also enforce. We have to, of course, send the message across through education. But I want to say that in recent times, we have been getting some very good help from the public in terms of taking photos of some of these persons, because you know that as much as we like, we can't be on every street, but certainly it gives us the ability to be proactive as well. So the areas that we know that those offenses, there is a greater probability of them occurred there, then it assists us in informing us as to where we ought to place persons and so on. We try to be fluid and we try to ensure that we listen to citizens. So we are always grateful of the feedback, of the suggestions, and we listen to those and we act as well.
Right. How can we give you feedback? Where do we send the feedback? Where do we call?
Well, the feedback can come through police emergency. It can also come to Peace Step headquarters at 928-1162. You know, it can also go through the media houses. They have our contacts and they will get those messages to us.
Excellent, excellent. We take a break now and continue with a focus on the capacity of Peace Step to carry out its duties. Stay with us.
Did you know that you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate online or by visiting any of the Registrar General's Department offices listed on their website? For ease of processing, there are several things you need to know about the person or child whose birth certificate you are applying for. Here's a checklist. Ensure you know the correct name and spelling of the person, as well as their mother and father. You will need their date and place of birth, which is usually the name of the hospital or location they were born. Parish of birth is also important. Find out also the birth entry number along with the date and place of registration for the adult or child. Remember, for additional information on how you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate or someone else's, contact the Registrar General's Department today.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with Superintendent of Police Gary McKenzie of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Peace Step. Thank you for staying with us. SP McKenzie, Peace Step recently got 80 motorbikes. How will this help in your operations?
Well, certainly this will greatly enhance our visibility. We will also be strategically placing them across areas where we term bad spots. These are areas where we have had fatal accidents occurring. We will also utilize them to enhance our ability to further deter the movement of criminals and to ensure that persons traversing our public thoroughfares are safe.
Yes. You started with 700 members. How is that? How effective is that? And do you need more persons? And will you get more persons?
Well, we ensure that whatever numbers we have, we utilize them effectively. Sometimes it is not just about the numbers, but it is how effective you actually use them. That is one of the things that we continue to work on daily. As you are aware, there are a number of areas, there are a number of issues that we have to deal with. And so we prioritize and we judiciously place them to ensure that we get the best fit so that the public will see the benefits of it.
Yes. Your officers are specially trained, right? Can you tell us a little about that, the training?
Well, they have been trained in traffic management. They have been trained in terms of identifying offenses and so on. One of the things they are also trained on is traffic surveillance and road safety issues. And so we also have several other units. For example, there is the Accident Investigation and Reconstruction Unit that uses scientific methodology to reconstruct accidents and give technical evidence in court. We have the breathalyzer unit, we have the road safety unit, we have also our data and traffic ticketing department. So all of that come together, plus the officers who are out there on the streets doing highway patrols, motorcycle patrols, bicycle patrols, and so on. So it is pretty much a comprehensive branch.
Yes. As you talk about ticketing, there is complaints sometimes that sometimes I get a ticket and I go to court. I didn't go to pay at the tax office, but I go to court. And when I go to court, the cost on the ticket is a lot more than it was initially. What would be the reason for that?
Well, when one gets a ticket, there's an option to pay or go to court. There is a set fine when a traffic ticket is issued. Once you get to court, that is handled by the judge. And from what I know, there is a range in terms of what can be charged and so on. So that's where the difference is.
Right, so if you don't pay the ticket at the tax office and you go to court, you should be paying the same amount if you're found guilty.
Well, that of course is determined by the judge. As I say, there's a range in terms of the fines, high and the low, depending on what the discussion is at the court. Then that decision is made by the judge.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit more about public safety and PSTEB's initiatives.
Well, certainly PSTEB, as was said earlier, is a branch that deals with public safety and of course public order. And so when we talk about public safety, the branch has a wide reach. It started out within the corporate area, but it is seeking to expand across the entire country. And of course, we have to ensure that persons are not only safe in terms of moving from one place to another, but there are also issues of ensuring that they come to no harm. And so our highway patrol, it is one of our versatile patrols because it deals with high visibility, ensuring that persons are confident that the police is there and they are able to access them, but also to prevent and detect criminal activity, as also to ensure that there are no blockage or where the road traffic laws are breached, actions are taken. So we are responsible for that. On the other hand, the issue of public order, especially within our townships and business districts, vendor management is one aspect. We have to work along with other agencies to actually look after infrastructure building. When you look, for example, at Halfway Tree in terms of accommodating the number of taxis and buses and so on, we have to plan and move ahead to ensure that as we go along, there's this organization that will help us to see an orderly society.
It is a difficult job, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Tell me, how do you see your branch, the JCF and PSTEB, how do you see your role in helping Jamaica to maintain an orderly society, thus fostering an environment for growth?
Well, it is a very important entity. In fact, we would regard it as the flagship as it relates to interfacing with the public and actually giving the public the confidence that the police is out there. When you look at their dress and so on, they are bright, they are out there, they are expected to be seen, they are expected to be active, and when they do so in a professional manner, the results are evident. As we speak, persons are really very happy about how we have demonstrated professionalism and effectiveness, especially with the back to school and so on. And so we continue to work towards being that beacon that can lead the way in terms of giving the JCF and Jamaica the kind of face that it requires to go to the future.
We are seeing some new initiatives on the police. For example, recently when we had a strike, you took the children to school, the students to school. You know, you can see you helping people to do, work on their car if it's broken down or so. So really the police is really doing a new thing. Tell me, it's 1 year later, what's the way forward for PSTEB?
Well, the way forward is continue to develop the brand, continue to be better at what we do. Of course, technology, equipping ourselves, training, that is very important. We recognize that. We also have to ensure that we listen to what the public says because service is important. That is what a national police force is about. We also recognize that it is not about enforcement, but a modern police force taking into consideration social and economic development. So we see ourselves as participating in all these issues, and we believe that we can make a significant difference going forward.
And our role, how can we help you?
Well, definitely. Firstly, we want Jamaica to recognize that the JCF and of course the branch, it is theirs. And so we want them to conform with the rule of law. We want them to police us as well. We want them to recognize that it's very important that when things are not going good, they are able to speak about it and to act on it as well, contribute as a citizen towards helping us to be orderly and to be lawful.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Mackenzie. This has been Get the Facts with our guest, Gary Mackenzie, Superintendent of Police of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Until next time, I'm Enthros Campbell. Take care.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
There's a lot more to Jamaica than just what meets the eye. I'd always loved art. It was my first love. It set me free. I did some artwork for the Half Moon Hotel. And shortly after, 14 guests showed up at my gate thinking I had a gallery up here. And that gave me the idea that I need to have a gallery. And so the guests would come up, they see the garden, ask if they could go for a walk, but everybody came back saying, we should make something of it. It was inspiring, and they described it in many ways.
When they come here, we give each guest a welcome and a little history about the place before they take the tour. There's one word that they repeat over and over again. Love. They feel love in this place.
One guest we had in the early years was from Germany. And he said, you know, I spent 5 days on the beach looking up in these hills and just wondered what was life like up there. And he found us. People who travel want to experience. And this is what we try to offer, an experience.
Every guest that leaves this place, say it, I came here as a guest and I felt like family.
Yeah.
Come to Jamaica and be your family.
We all have a story to tell. Mine is just one of millions that are out there. And they're all good.
Tamara Blake will be bestowed the Badge of Honor for Gallantry for her role in ensuring the safe return of an abducted infant from the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Check this out.
This is a story that could have gone many ways. But Tamara Blake stepped in and turned an unfortunate tale into a real-life happy ending. On February 5, 2019, through her vigilant and intuitive actions, Miss Blake averted the unlawful registration of birth of a stolen infant, and as a result, he was returned to his rightful parents. She is referred to as the lawyer in the family. She admits too to having an inquisitive mind.
I've been a practicing investigator since I was a child, so I guess it is just playing out on the job.
When the now convicted woman sat beside her and began sharing a story of why the baby she held in her arms was unregistered, she simply said, "This no add up."
I think the whole thing was just divinely orchestrated because I was not supposed to be at this location on the given day. I was advertising for my colleague who was not at work. And it so happened that Ms. French turned up for registration of the infant And as a result of her coming to do the registration, not providing the information adequately that was required, you know, it raised a few red flags, and the rest of it is history. Well, I'm just happy that, you know, the family has been reunited. I'm happy to know that I could have played a part.
Some say the guilty woman met the wrong birth registrar. Miss Blake is a passionate government worker who takes her job seriously.
I am a public sector worker, a proud public sector worker. I started working March of 2004, at which point I was a customer service representative, and then I was promoted to administrative assistant, and then I was in the midst of administrative assistant / supervisor for different departments. And then I am currently a registration officer. I'm the person responsible for ensuring that all births that occurs within the hospital ambit is registered. I look forward to coming to work every day. I love my job. Yes, I do. Well, you know, a lot of persons come to the RGD thinking that when you come, you're going to be getting a hard time, whether it's for birth or death registration. That's what I can speak to. That's my portfolio. And when you leave, you know, with a smile, or when you're going to say, "What, you finished already?" You know, that gives me a oomph, because when a customer is happy, that makes me extremely happy. I say to the persons who are out there who are of the thought process that it's okay to come to RGD and mislead the workers there into thinking that, you know, this baby is not registered, or in whatever scenario there is, please desist from doing so. Because the more you step out in doing these things, is the more stringent the measures are going to be, because we are eradicating and we are mitigating these acts. And I want Jamaica to help me to fight against the crime of abduction of our children. I want Jamaica to help me to make sure that babies are not missing. We don't lose our babies to abduction.
For now, she turns her attention to National Heroes Day, getting ready to gracefully accept the Badge of Honor for Gallantry, for an act of courage and bravery in identifying and reporting the registration of birth of a stolen infant. She is one of only 3 persons receiving the honor this year.
I am still in disbelief at this moment, because it's not something that I was looking forward to. Didn't do what I do because I wanted to be rewarded. I am looking forward to getting my steps right. To collect an award, not for myself, but to be collecting this award of gallantry on behalf of the agency, on behalf of the nation. The world has been looking on, and this is just putting the icing on the cake to say, okay, it has happened. So I'm very happy to be receiving, to be the recipient to collect the award on behalf of the agency.
$650 students, $100 million. How are they connected? Through the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program offered at 32 high schools across the island. It's a 2-year program to equip future tourism workers with the requisite skills to meet the demands of the growing global industry. Graduates will be certified by the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute and received an associate degree from a local college. We're building a resilient tourism industry through human capital development.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
As a university student, trying to find the perfect accommodation that meets your expectations is quite different from that of the working class individual. Well, today on Home Sweet Home, we're going to take you through some of your options, all while maintaining the perfect GPA. Hi, Georgina.
Hi, Jody. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us.
No problem.
So, Georgina, you're a student up at the University of the West Indies. What are you studying?
I'm actually an international relations major and a management studies minor, and I'm a finalizing student.
So, how many years?
My degree is 3 years.
Okay.
So this is my final semester, final year, and I'm so happy to be done with this degree.
Okay, so tell me a little bit what it's like as a student looking for somewhere to live.
I have actually been boarding off campus for 3 years, the full duration of my degree. And it is a bit difficult. I used the classifieds, I used UTEC's boarding list.
So you never wanted to live on campus any other time?
I did, however, after talking with my parents, and we were looking at the finances, we decided it would be better to live off campus than live on campus.
Okay, is it cheaper to live off campus?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then also you get your own bathroom.
Oh my God, you don't understand. That is one of the biggest reasons why I decided to live off campus as well.
Okay, and so do you live here by yourself or do you have roommates?
Actually, I have housemates and I have a roommate as well.
Housemate, roommate, tell me the difference.
Okay, roommate is the person that you share the room with.
Okay.
My housemates are the persons that I share the house with.
Okay.
So currently there are 2 males and 6 females.
Okay, wow, how many bedrooms?
There's a single, 2 single, and 3 double.
So along with the classifieds, I'm sure you looked online. How difficult was it to find a place?
It wasn't really difficult. The first list that I used was the UTEC list. Because when I was looking, coming out of sixth form, heading to Kingston to start university, my friends were going to UTEC. So they got a boarding list in their package. I used that list to find a suitable place. There's also a website that you can just type in boarding in Kingston. However, it quotes the price in US. Many other places on that website are from like Karachi. It's mainly for Mona.
Okay.
Karachi and Ligani, yeah. So you'd go through the list, eliminate what wasn't working for you, and then you'd call the places and then set up a time for meeting. We gave ourselves a timeline. In the space of 2 weeks, we were supposed to finish finding a place and be ready to pay your security deposit to move in. But it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would have been. Because
so you were
we're
able
doing
to find
it as
somewhere
a group.
within the 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you went to, how many places did you go and look at by the time you narrowed it down?
Well, the list was kind of long. Yeah. We were mainly looking in Mona, and Mona tends to have a lot of places. So we went to, I think, around 15 places. Yes, we went to 15. There are places out there, it just takes you to go through the listings in the classifieds and in the list that they give you to find something that you actually like and something within your price range.
So tell me now, how does the agreement look? Because there's housemates, there's roommates, and I'm sure there must be a contract with so many people living together. Is there a contract with the landlord and then a contract that maybe you have with your housemates, like don't drink my milk?
Yes.
Yes.
There's actually a written agreement with the landlord that you sign. Your contract can run from 1 year to 3 years for the duration. It's just the duration.
Right.
So the 1 to 3 years was just an example. With the housemates, if you need something and I have it, you ask me for it and I'll give it to you. We don't use other person's things without getting permission or...
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Mandeville.
Is there a problem, like if your family or your friends come to visit you from Mandeville, can they catch with you?
Yes,
or?
they can. In the contract, you're allowed 3 days for a person to stay over. So if my family or friends come from Mandeville, or even my best friend, she lives in Westmoreland, so if she comes from West and she needs to stay over, that's fine, as long as it's not a problem with my roommate, because at the end of the day, you have to remember that this is a shared space.
Tell me more about the options that are available for students in terms of housing.
Well, options vary from living on campus and living off campus. Like if you attend, say, NCU, you can live on, off, UTech, it's the same, UA, it's the same. So it all depends on what you're looking for, what is suited to your budget or your preference, as said before.
And then if you decide to live on campus, you choose, for UWI, you have the halls of residence.
Yes.
And then if you live off campus, there's little houses that you can rent out for either a semester or the year.
Yes.
Okay. And then you can choose whether you want a roommate or a housemate.
Or you want a single room.
There's a lot of options out there, so whatever you want, you'll be able to find it.
That is
and
true.
now when it comes down to price, tell me now, what are the prices that you've come across?
Well, the prices can range between as little as 12,000 to as much as 45.
This is a month?
Yes.
The 45 is where?
The 45 is in the Mona region. Yes.
What does that come with? They have a pet?
You No, you don't.
No?
No,
Okay.
you actually get everything is included. I think you're paying for the infrastructure itself.
Washer, dryer?
Yes, you get everything. Places vary based on what you're looking for. Say a $12,000 place will not include light, water, internet, gas, cable, washer, dryer, etc.
So would it be possible then to just look for a place that's $17,000, $18,000 with everything included? There's that option there too?
Yes, there are options like that. However, those places are typically hard to find because persons like myself, when I find something that is a deal, I am not moving until I'm finished with my studies. And persons, there's even a person living here whom he's working now and he's renting here because the rent is affordable and he has student loans to cover.
So then, I know that in Mona there's a lot of student housing. So if you have a working person who wants to come in and live like how you have your roommate here, is that allowed?
Typically, no, because the housing, it's for students, and working persons, they'll want to have their friends or their significant other come and visit, say probably on a school night, and then persons would be uncomfortable. Many working persons would not want to share a room with a student because we're at two different levels. Where I'm still in the student mindset, you're in the working person mindset. So that's where the disparity comes in.
What seems to be the most popular option when it comes to student housing?
My friends actually live off campus and on campus, so it's a good mixture. For many, why they live on campus is because they've had bad experiences with living off campus, or because they decided that they wanted to be immersed in the hall culture, but you can be immersed in hall culture and UA culture without living on campus. Well, for persons, especially for males, it would be the option of having a single room. And a lot of single rooms for males are available on campus and not necessarily off campus because landlords tend to want to maximize their profits. But it's dependent on where you look and it's dependent on your landlord. For women, a lot of women like to have a supportive person that they can come home and say, oh, this is my roommate, I can tell her about my day, etc. So, and both of you are in the struggle together. Right. So, you know, I uplift you, you uplift me, etc. So for many females that I know, sharing when off campus is better for them.
What were the different factors that you looked at in getting this particular place?
For me, the top priorities: location, price, aesthetics. The other priorities now, persons living there, will I get along with these persons, because I'll be spending most of my time between here and school, and this is kind of like my home away from home. Will I get along with these people, etc. That's basically it.
All right, Georgina, so basically if I'm a student, my options are living on the halls of residence, or I can live off campus, and you're here, you live off campus, and you're going to show me around? Okay.
Come on inside.
House hunting is not for the faint of heart, especially if you're a university student. After the break, we'll take a look at a house off campus and see if this option is suitable for you.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV. All right, Georgina, so basically if I'm a student, my options are living on the halls of residence, or I can live off campus, and you're here, you live off campus, and you're going to show me around? Okay.
Come on inside. Yes. This is my living room. Currently we have one single room here. A gentleman lives here. Another room here shared by two girls, one's a nurse and one's studying entrepreneurship. And then around here, we have another room. Yeah, they're kind of down there. And then this is my room. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you my room now. So enter. This is my little space. Yeah.
Very cozy.
Bathroom, as I was telling you, which is very important. And we share the
storage space
and we each have our own chest of drawers.
Okay. So this kind of accommodation, is this typically what students can find? Are they more elaborate or more basic?
It depends on where you go and what you're looking for, as I've stated before. They get more elaborate. But this is typically how the houses that aren't in the traditionally dormitory communities, like Mona, this is how they look.
Okay. Now, I know you had said earlier it took you about 2 weeks to find your place. Now, you know what your friends have said, and you know when people talk how long does it take on average for someone to find their perfect space?
On average, it can take like a month, because after you leave sixth form, that's when you have to start looking. The reason why we found a place in 2 weeks as well was because we also had a point person in Kingston, someone who had already known the ropes and was helping us along to know where we're supposed to go. So it's good to find assistance, but normally by yourself on your own, it will probably take like, say, a month and a half to find a suitable place. But at the same time, say you find somewhere, you like it, but you don't love it, you can change it into the way that you want. Decorate how you want, accessorize how you want. It's all about you getting a space and turning the space into your own, with the permission of the landlord, of course.
Okay, so for a prospective student looking for somewhere to live, what are some of the tips that you would give them to find their perfect accommodation?
Well, start to look from early. That's number one. Number two, figure out your price range. Are you willing to pay a lot? Are you not willing to pay a lot? Will you go in the middle? Be prepared to negotiate. Be prepared to share a space with, say, someone that you've never met if you're unable to find suitable accommodations. I don't want to come off as saying you're going to lose some friends, but yeah, be prepared for that as well, because persons will be living on campus and they'll be changing friends, they'll be growing, they'll be becoming young adults, or
it's a part of the university
it's a part of the university experience for you to either become a better version of yourself or a worse version of yourself. It's all about you. So that's basically it. And get comfortable. Come with the stuff that reminds you of home, especially for a young student. Say you're 17, 18, bring stuff that reminds you of home. Yeah, it's not to get sentimental or anything, but it helps you cope, especially when it's closer to exam times and you can't get to go home, you can't get to see your family. Talking to them via Skype or on the phone is good and all, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just need something that reminds you of your family and of home. Yes.
Georgina, thank you so much for having us. And definitely, well, if I was a student, I know exactly what I would do if I wanted to live on campus or off campus. And thank you so much for those tips, especially the last one, to bring something that reminds you of home. I think that's very important. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Are you going to cook me some lunch now?
Well, what would you like?
Well, let's see what there is. I see a whole heap of things in the kitchen. On the other side of the break, we'll be speaking with Jason McKenzie, Acting Director, Office of Student Services and Development at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. He'll be telling us everything we need to know about living on campus. Home Sweet Home will be right back after the break.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we back down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
Jason Mackenzie.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure having you. Please have a seat.
Thank you. Now, here at the University of the West Indies, it's known as a hall of residence and not a dormitory. Can you tell us why?
It is a hall of residence because it's a space that provides certain developmental opportunities for our students. Essentially, a dormitory, people would just tend to sleep and rest in those, whereas in a hall of residence, it's not just a place to sleep, but a place where certain developmental activities take place. And that's the main distinction between a hall of residence and a dormitory.
Okay, so students living in the hall of residence, what are some of the benefits that they can get?
Living in a hall of residence allows for our students to be closer to the many facilities here on the campus. So they can walk to the library at any point in time. They are able to access better safety and security. It also allows for them to interact with persons from different backgrounds, living in that kind of a global village, as it were. Importantly as well, a hall of residence is a unique environment for living and for learning. So they are learning certain life skills while they reside in a hall of residence.
Okay, so the hall of residence, it's similar then to a rental agreement?
Yes, they do sign a hall agreement because it's important that they abide by certain rules and regulations that are set by the institution. Importantly as well, they need to make payment, so the hall license agreement will speak to the kind of resources that they need to make available to us, the kind of facilities that we will offer for them, and the kind of conduct that we expect of our students while living in a hall of residence.
And how long is each time period that you can sign up for?
The agreement is for a year, where students, if they choose to, can spend a semester. After the year though, they may apply or reapply to live in the hall, and they may be granted accommodation for another year. So it's a year-by-year basis that they enter into an arrangement with us.
How many rooms do you think there are on campus?
We have 3,786 spaces currently on campus. And these are scattered through 10 halls of residence.
So what are some of the restrictions for the students living within the halls? Are they allowed visitors? Are they allowed visitors after certain hours? What are some of the no-nos?
The safety and security of our students are of utmost importance. Certainly they are allowed visitors. We are visiting hours as well because you want to maintain certain behavioral patterns within that space, and you do not want for a visitor to be of an inconvenience to somebody who was paid to be within that space. So our visiting period ranges from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Can the student leave campus? Is there a curfew for them to come back in and be in the hall of residence?
No, they are indeed adults, and so they are allowed to leave and return at their own discretion.
Are there any other policies that students need to abide by?
The institution itself has broad policies and regulations that speak to students' conduct. And so whether or not you're living in a hall of residence or you're a commuting student, you're expected to abide by these rules and regulations.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the units. Are some of them furnished? None are furnished? Appliances, are they included? How new are some of the halls? Give me a little idea of what I can expect when I go on my tour.
The first of the existing hall of residence is Irving Hall, and that came into being in 1950. The most recent hall of residence came into being in 2015. So we have, you know, a range of halls in terms of the age of the facilities. Importantly though, they are fully furnished spaces. And so there are different accommodation types. We have an all-female hall. We also have an all-male hall. Importantly, there are double rooms and there are single rooms. These are all furnished spaces, so they will come with a bed, a chair, an easy chair, a chest of drawers. You will also have bookshelves, a study lamp, and so on. So, you know, a comfortable setting where students can relax. Students can take care of their academic work, but importantly, there are common spaces where students can meet and interact and benefit from our developmental programs. Okay. It's a holistic environment. It's a community within a community where students learn, develop, grow, and become better individuals, because we believe that we are producing citizens that are global in their thinking and that are able to work with persons from various backgrounds.
You had said earlier that there were about 3,700 spaces available to students. About how many of those spaces right now are occupied?
We have full occupancy. There is a high demand for accommodation on campus.
But is it possible for me to take a look around at one of the halls?
It would be my pleasure to show you one of the halls of residence.
Which hall are we going to go to? Because I know you said that there's 10.
We'll go to the Elsa Leo Riney Hall of Residence.
Okay, great.
So this is Mr. Anderson. I'm manager for the hall.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing, Bertram? Yes.
So this is what it is.
Oh wow, this really reminds me of college.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson, for hosting us. So Jody, this is Bertram Anderson, the Student Service and Development Manager for Elsa Leo Riney Hall, and he's responsible for the developmental activities that we spoke about that happen within a hall of residence, to include leadership, mentorship, community outreach, and so on. So he's the one who is responsible for delivering the developmental programs.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So I noticed that there were a couple different towers. How many towers are there?
There are 5 towers. There are approximately 600 students that live in towers. Only one of the towers that you have seen houses double occupancy.
As a student, how would I apply to live in one of the residences?
Well, as a new student, a new applicant to the university, the application form includes a section for student housing. So you will apply indicating your hall of choice. And then we will do that processing. As long as you're accepted by the institution, then we will write to you to indicate whether or not you have been successful in your application. For students who are already living in a hall of residence, the period March 1 to the 31st of March is the application period. So the returning students will apply during that period, and we'll also process their application. And by the end of the semester, they will know whether or not they have been successful in their application.
So returning students, do they have more of a better chance of getting in, like, than a new student?
Well, we leave a certain percentage of the space for new students,
okay,
because we really want to give each student an opportunity to live in a hall of residence.
Okay. Thank you so much for showing me around. I'm sure the student that lives here is very happy. I can see that she has her books out, ready to study. And thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.
Today we looked at some of the housing options available to university students, and we also shared some tips with you on how to make the transition from your parents' house into your own space a little bit smoother. I'm Jody, and that's it for this week of Home Sweet Home.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Kaleidoscope Paint celebrated its official relaunch in Jamaica at the Crew Bar in Kingston, and Business Access TV was there to bring you all the highlights. Stay tuned.
To the management team from KPL Group, the parent company for Kaleidoscope Paints Trinidad, Mr. Mahindra Deval Singh, the export manager, and I'll also take the opportunity to extend the sincerest apologies on behalf of Dale Parson, the CEO of KPL Group. He could not be here, but of course, he certainly hopes that everyone has a fantastic launch. To the reps from Matalon Distributors, in particular, Andrew Matalon, CEO, Nicole Masters, the marketing manager, the management team from Matalon Homes, the management team from Tankweld, specially invited guests from the real estate, the building, and the construction industry. I also noticed that we have some interior decorators here as well. Friends of the media, all, good afternoon. My name is Terry Carroll, and I have the pleasure of being your host this afternoon for the Kaleidoscope Paints Limited media launch. And I'll be very honest with you, it's not just another Sunday, and we're not just launching another product. But thank you so very much for being here. Now, the reason why this is very timely, and the reason why this launch is very relevant is because, one, Jamaicans like to spruce up them place, especially at Christmas time. Everyone knows this. Even if you weren't planning on painting, once you start to see the festivities and the vibrancy, you say, all right, you have to at least spruce up some area in your place. Number two, we have seen the development that is taking place in Jamaica. On every corner, on every street, we see the development, the construction industry doing very well, which means that wherever we have building construction, we clearly need paint. And another thing that makes this so beautiful is because Jamaicans, we are known for supporting and loving family-owned businesses. And this is one of them. Now, for those of you who may not know, Kaleidoscope is a top quality paint that will sell itself once customers start to use it. They're celebrating over 48 years of being a leader, not just in the Caribbean, but in South America. The person who is probably best to speak about this product is Mr. Mahindra Deval Singh, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, the export manager from the KPL Group. Please make him welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here to help to reintroduce Kaleidoscope Paints to the Jamaica market. This really feels like we are coming back home, as we were strong players in this market for about 6 years, but exited when our distributors at the time, Facey Commodity, changed ownership from the Matalan Group. So it's more than fortuitous that we are back with the Matalans, with whom we have had so much success in the past. Both our companies share similar values and hold our corporate family culture close to our strategic alliances. We believe that our partnership with Matalan distributors could not have come at a more opportune time, as it will allow us to effectively represent our brand with an organization that is well respected and long established in Jamaica. This alliance with Matalan distributors has also created an avenue for us to share our technology with the Tankwell Metals Group, of which Matalan Distributors is a subsidiary. And on behalf of the KPL board in Trinidad, I have to say a special thank you to Mr. Peter Matalan and to Mr. Chris Bicknell, Group CEO and Chairman of Tankwell Metals, for giving us this opportunity. Today is a launchpad for the re-establishment of the KPL Group through our high-quality products as a household name in Jamaica. This year, Kaleidoscope Paint celebrates 48 years of being a leader in the Caribbean paints industry. Our mission is to be recognized as a world-class family-owned company in the Caribbean and South America, recognized for manufacturing high-quality products and services while providing personalized business relationships, customer satisfaction, employee motivation, and shareholders' value. Our core values emanate from our mission and is entwined in our business operations. We are family-oriented and seek to cultivate partnerships with our customers as opposed to mere business transactions. KPL's brand is well established throughout the CARICOM territories and some South American countries. 4 decades of Kaleidoscope's history have taught us what's important to our customers. We have not only responded to their need for beauty, color, performance, and durability, we keep surpassing expectations with new, innovative, and high-quality products that continue to be winners. In technical evaluations against top leading competitors, over the past 5 years, Kaleidoscope has been the standout winner in the following categories, which are key essentials for the Caribbean consumers and contractors. We are the best in whiteness, most brilliant white, the whitest white. Opacity, best coverage, ability, and obliteration properties. Gloss, highest sheen. Scrubbability, which is durability, longevity, power to withstand exposure to the Caribbean elements. Viscosity and alkalinity, rated #1. But that's in Trinidad, and Trinidad is half the population of that of Jamaica, and we hope that our renewed presence in the Jamaica market can contribute towards propelling our brand to even greater heights. We will be bringing to you in Jamaica our best-in-class, quality, price, and multi-products in paints and finishes, because if you need to paint it, we can cover it. We are so excited to be back in Jamaica, and thank you so much for being here today. I thank you all.
Thank you for that. As I was listening to him, he spoke about beauty, color, performance, durability, and the fact that they listen to their customers, they have good relationships with them, they adjust, they innovate, and of course, they deliver. So we welcome you with open arms to Jamaica and to the Jamaican market once more. Now, whenever I hear about Matalans, I think rich. Real tanta rich. In terms of quality, professionalism, customer service, and what they do. From Matalan Homes to Matalan Roofing to Matalan Distributors, they are everywhere, and they've done very well and expanded very well because what they do is they deliver quality. Therefore, as the distributors of Kaleidoscope Paints, it makes sense for me to introduce Andrew Matalan, who is going to bring the key message this afternoon. Please make him welcome.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on this special occasion, the launch, or should I say, the relaunch of Kaleidoscope Paints here in Jamaica. We actually have a history with Kaleidoscope Paints. When our family-owned Facey Commodity, who were the local distributors of the brand in Jamaica. So when they decided to come back to the country, it was a natural that they also came home to us, so to speak. A new alliance with Madelon Distributors has been forged. We are certain that as soon as Jamaicans are reintroduced to the top quality Kaleidoscope paint brand, they will fall in love once again. Kaleidoscope Paints is a household name in Trinidad and Tobago, where they were founded over 40 years ago. Today, they have spread their brand to cover 15 Caribbean countries. They pride themselves on being leaders in the paints and coatings field by constantly innovating, continuously improving their quality, and always giving the customers what they need, which are beautiful paint colors with exquisite finishes and time-tested durability. These claims are not made without warrant. The technical evaluations shows that this is who they are. Over the past 5 years, Kaleidoscope has come out on top against the other leading competitors as number one in whiteness, opacity, gloss, scrubbability, viscosity, and alkalinity. The brand is renowned for its wide range of vibrant colors, best coverage, top qualities of paints, stains, varnishes, and other finishes for the home, industrial, marine, and automotive sectors. From contractor to the household painter, together we have the brand that offers you the best value by far. Since we are in the midst of a construction boom, this is an opportune time for Kaleidoscope to be re-entering the Jamaican market. From residential and commercial developments to hotels, the new face of Jamaica is under construction, and that is evident everywhere that you look. We don't expect this boom to slow down anytime soon, and that's why we at Madelon Distributors plan to be an integral player with Kaleidoscope Paints in coloring and covering it all. We are so confident in this brand that we decided to pave the way ourselves. Kaleidoscope Paint will be on all future Madelon Homes projects, which are known for our high quality finishes and designs. We feel this is a statement which shows our customers that we practice what we preach. The future is certainly bright and colorful with Kaleidoscope Paints and Madelon Distributors. Over the next year, we are planning to employ at least 20 members of staff to grow alongside the brand. We see the scope of our partnership allowing for us to take on the manufacturing of the paints here at our head office here in Jamaica. We look forward to the future and a long-lasting relationship with Dale and the rest of the Kaleidoscope team. So again, thank you for coming, and let's begin to paint Jamaica in a kaleidoscope of colors.
Very well said. The future is colorful and bright. And again, he brought home the point that there is a construction boom, and certainly practicing what you preach sends a very clear message to customers. So I look forward to seeing what the future Madelon Homes look like, and with the colors covering all of the walls. He says that this is the best value by far. And I think when I looked at your swatches, I believe I'm really in love with Cool Olive. I think that color definitely caught my eye. On behalf of all of us here, we thank you for coming back home, of course, associating and aligning with Madelon Distributors, and we wish you all the best in the Jamaican market. Have a great week ahead. Thank you, guys. Take care.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this: Promise yourself this. No more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more. No more crime.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Kaleidoscope Paints is relaunching here in Jamaica. What's the significance of you guys coming back to Jamaica?
Well, what happened back in the 80s and 90s when we were with Facey Commodity, we did quite well in this market. The paints, the product, the brand name was well accepted. It took us a while, but what happened is we got an opportunity to go back or to come back again into the market with the Matalan family business. We realized that a lot of people do recognize the name from back then. Everybody knows Facey Commodity was a strong company then, and we are extremely happy to actually come back with the very Matalan group, Tanquils Metals Limited, strong, long-established companies in Jamaica, similar to Kaleidoscope Paints in Trinidad. We share similar values, and we found, hey, this looks like a good partnership. Let's do it. And this is what we are doing, really.
As you mentioned, Kaleidoscope Paints is based in Trinidad. Talk to us a little bit about Kaleidoscope Paints. You've been around for almost 50 years. Just give us a brief overview of the company.
Okay, sure. So Kaleidoscope Paints was founded by the late Stephen Parson. Mr. Parson, history, was working in the paint industry in Trinidad. He initially worked with a company called British Paints, which of course was an English company. British Paints was bought over by Berger Paints somewhere back in the 60s. When that happened, Mr. Parson was a pretty senior executive up to that time, and what he decided then was it was time for him to go and form his own paint company, because he had a long number of years and great experience with the British Paints company in particular. So that gave rise to, in 1972, Kaleidoscope Paints Limited became a registered company. They started manufacturing, and it has been a long road full of challenges, but also full of triumphs. The brand name is now a household name in Trinidad and the CARICOM region generally. We sell to a few markets in the Latin American and South American countries. It is our intention to take the brand international by moving out firstly to the other Spanish-speaking territories in the Caribbean. And Jamaica, not being in Jamaica, having been in Jamaica before, it was a natural step that we must re-establish our ties in the Jamaican economy before we attempt to stretch ourselves further.
What makes Kaleidoscope Paints a standout brand on the market?
Their quality and engineering that they go through regularly. They're tested and rated for a whole host of different awards against top competitors. They've made a name for themselves throughout the Caribbean, and in Jamaica is going to be their next big step.
Matalan Distributors is the official distributor of Kaleidoscope Paints here in Jamaica. What's the significance of the brand coming back to Jamaica?
Kaleidoscope Paints is known for their quality, high-end products, which is something that's associated with all of the products that we currently distribute, such as roofing, our housing developments on the Matalan Home side. Kaleidoscope falls into place with all of the stuff that we do right now.
And what can consumers expect from Kaleidoscope Paints?
We're coming here, and we're going to be here for the long run. We're coming big. The quality, everything that they have, the product speaks for itself. There's no doubt in that. We've tested it, we've gone through all of that, and we're actually using it on all of our Matalon Homes developments. That in itself is a statement because we're known for high quality, high end residential developments. So the fact that we're using it, we practice what we preach.
Kaleidoscope Paints has officially launched today. What are you most excited about being here in Jamaica?
I'm most excited that one, it's a family-owned company, and because it's a family-owned company, we basically look to family values. So we look at the impact of when people are owning a home and how dear their home is to them. So we look at quality, we look at affordability, we look at scent, everything that goes into painting.
We know there are several paint brands on the market, but what makes you stand out the most?
We have variety and we have affordability. And I think that is the most important thing. And we are accessible. You know, sometimes some companies get so big, their customers are oftentimes alienated, but that's not the case. We go directly to our consumers, and they can expect that from Kaleidoscope at all times.
Do you have anything that people can look forward to in terms of getting the brand out there?
Of course, we'll constantly be doing promotions. We will be doing a lot of charity events. We really want people to benefit, the Jamaican people to benefit from this product in all aspects.
What's your take on the brand so far?
Actually, I'm very excited. I'm happy to see that they're back in Jamaica. I'm excited to sample a few of their products. I'm actually very excited because they spoke to the fact that they've won awards for durability and scrubbability. The whitest white. I'm looking forward to actually trying their white colors because, white and bright is kind of very popular now. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And then the colors that based on what I'm seeing, are actually quite beautiful. Very tropical almost, but subtle. So very excited.
As an interior decorator, from your stance, how do you think Jamaicans will accept this brand, basically?
I think they will. I think they'll accept it. As decorators, it's our responsibility to actually push the product. It's from the region, so that's very good. I really like to support and build local, and by local, I mean the local region, at least in this case. So I think they will. The colors are beautiful. I can't imagine that people won't love the colors. I think they'll do really well because they actually really have some very, very nice colors. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite colors that you've seen so far?
I actually love Regatta Blue. I love Cool Olive. And there's Icicle and Spice. Oh my gosh, and there's one other beautiful Blossom. Blossom and Clay Pot are also some beautiful colors. Yeah.
We came together with Matalon Roofing to distribute paints within Jamaica. We formed the company Matalon Distributors, which will be distributing paints island-wide. And it's a wonderful opportunity for the Jamaican market, as it's another opportunity for them to diversify in terms of different products from another company. There are several paint companies locally, however, we're not worried about that, however, because Tankwell is a successful company in Jamaica, as well as Matalon Roofing rather, and Matalon Homes. And this partnership together, I believe, will do very well in Jamaica, as Matalon and Tankwell are household names, and Kaleidoscope was here before, and it came back in the island, and I believe that it's going to be another big thing for Tankwell, as we are launching out into other areas. We are now in trucking. We sell a wide range of hardware products island-wide. So this is a great opportunity with all the different developments that are taking place island-wide in terms of housing and in terms of hotels and so on. So it's a great opportunity for the island to have another company that is going to have competitive prices and brilliant colors and great quality and great service. And that's what we are here to do.
Thanks for tuning in to the official relaunch of Kaleidoscope Paint in Jamaica. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market, and that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now, in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment, which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant, Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs to fund for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2-3 years the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production and going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the next level, as well as some persons are coming with just proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
Coming up on Wealth Magazine Business Access, we'll be speaking with Yannick Page, a trailblazer who has embarked on a journey to transform how SMEs do business. Being an entrepreneur herself, Yannick will tell how she got into business on a shoestring budget and made a name for herself as an executive producer, business coach, and the managing director for Future Services International.
I'm Yannick Page, Managing Director, Future Services International. Yannick Page is an entrepreneur who is living on purpose. My focus is to empower people. I'm a social entrepreneur, and any business that I'm involved in is usually one that is socially driven, one that I measure success by the impact that I'm able to have on people's lives. So I started as a pioneer in legal funding and litigant support, and have diversified into a number of different areas, in particular business support services, a big focus on building Jamaica's entrepreneurial ecosystem, and a more sophisticated entrepreneurial class, right? People who are focused on starting businesses out of opportunities, and being able to create jobs and wealth for themselves and really make Jamaica a better place. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, right? And so I try to create balance in all of those roles. I was born at Nuttall Hospital, and I started school at Immaculate Prep. That's my earliest memory of school. Just a very strong sense of discipline. I kind of grew up for some of my life with both my parents. Eventually my parents got divorced, and so I pretty much grew up in a single parent household, right? With a very driven mother who was very entrepreneurial, father, same thing. And so I kind of developed that passion for entrepreneurship very early. Very early we were taught that the way that you actually earn an income is through hard work and creating value for other people. When I was young, I didn't have any confidence. I really didn't. And I would walk with my head down like this. And my father would say, walk with your head up. And it's something I didn't understand, why he would drill it and he would insist. But now I realize that once you get your children to develop that sense of confidence, they are able to do almost anything, right? Because if you build yourself, I believe you can build almost anything. After Immaculate Prep, went to Immaculate High. I passed for Immaculate High School and enjoyed my years there. until I got to fourth form. And in fourth form, you have to choose your subjects that you're going to do in CXC. And I wanted to do a mixture of the arts and the sciences. And at Immaculate High, they pretty much allowed you to choose, but then they would make the final decision for you. And I didn't get any subjects that I wanted. And so I moved. My mother was able to transfer me to St. Andrew High. The first term in fourth form, I started at Immaculate and then I transferred to St. Andrew High for girls. And I did 2 years there and was able to do exactly what I wanted to do. So from very early, you kind of see the kind of parents that I did have, because my mother was very focused on, I want you to do what you want to do. And I'm not even going to allow the school system to restrict you in terms of determining your future. And that's something that was very impactful for me. You know, it's something that as a parent, I try to emulate myself. My high school years were my worst years. A big part of that was because my parents were going through a divorce, and it was very traumatic on the entire family. And those are things that I still remember. And life just completely changed, and it was very difficult to kind of manage that adjustment. The second thing is that when I actually passed common entrance and got to high school, I couldn't see anything. I remember going to class and I could not see the board. And actually, I remember that I couldn't see from even common entrance, right? I remember I couldn't see. And what was interesting was that I was actually very nearsighted and didn't realize and didn't say anything. And so I would actually just tune out of all the classes because I couldn't see. I was at the back, can't see the blackboard, and I wasn't learning anything. And so for years, it wasn't until really catastrophe when, you know, I was pretty much failing in almost every single subject area that, you know, they decided that, okay, we need to get this child some psychological help, and we need to see what's going on. And in all of those investigations, I realized that, you know, the changes were having an impact on me, and that I couldn't see. And just actually getting glasses changed my whole life, because I started to perform better. But at the same time, I think a lot of the fundamentals had been lost. That platform was really, you know, when in first form you should be mastering a lot of the subject areas. I didn't do it then, and so I literally struggled throughout high school. And it wasn't because I was dunce, you know. And it's amazing. I think, and I'd like to say this. Children bloom and people bloom at their own time and their own pace. And we have an educational system that still does not recognize that children go through different things and that people go through different things and that they will bloom at different times. And it's the same for all of us. And that they have different likes and different areas of specialization and things that they are better at. But we kind of have this one size fits all. And I was very fortunate because there are many people who have gone through the education system who have a lot of potential in several different areas. But without that strong family support, they'll actually never reach their potential. And that for me is sad and disheartening. And it's something that I hope that we can change and impact, you know, because it's something that really holds us back as a people. I remember that I had a history teacher who I cared for so much. She was somebody that I really liked. And I remember her saying that she didn't think that I would amount to much, you know? And it was very impactful because here was a teacher that I was fond of who was already pronouncing, right? And who was really unkind. And it kind of was that moment when I thought, okay, I'm not going to amount to much. It's amazing. And for years I carried that. And I remember when I started my first business at 17, you know, and things were really down. I started my first business, and after 2 years I had to close it. It was devastating. I worked very hard. I worked 6 days a week at a beauty and skincare store. And we did beauty products, manicure, pedicure, and everything was just wrong in terms of the location that we chose was wrong. There wasn't adequate parking. It was upstairs. We didn't have a budget for marketing. The products were too expensive. They were imported. I mean, I was just doing everything wrong. You know, this is why until you build yourself, you can't really build anything. And I remember that when I was at rock bottom, I was thinking, boy, you know, all these people are right. I'm not going to amount to much. But my mother had this thing that she would constantly say. She would say, Yannick, the stone that the builder refuses will become the cornerstone. Yannick, the stone that the builder refuses will become the cornerstone. And she would repeat it to me again and again. And even when I felt like this was the end, even when I actually had to close the store and I was broke, I owed everybody. I remember being somewhere and being so thirsty. I said this up to recently, being somewhere and being so thirsty. And I couldn't afford to buy a drink. And I remember looking for every dollar coin I could find and it wasn't enough to buy a drink. And I was stuck at this place for several hours. And this nice man came to me and started talking. And I was like, okay, this man is trying to pick me up. And eventually he said, can I buy you a drink? Listen, if I didn't believe in God up to that point, that was because I really felt like I was going to faint from exhaustion and heat and dehydration. And here is this man just out of the blue. God just sent him to buy me a drink. He really did, and I was so grateful. But to this day, if I drop a dollar coin anywhere, if I go to the US and drop a penny, I am certain I'm not leaving it. It's a principle that has stuck with me. Every dollar is valuable because I remember what it was like to be at rock bottom. Years ago, I was seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident. And I suffered head injuries. My head had to be shaved. And I actually had other complications as a result of that.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
My entrepreneurship career pretty much started at age 17. I had done sixth form in 1 year. And I was ready to start a business. You know, I didn't see myself going back to school. It just wasn't something that I wanted for myself. So I kind of grew up seeing everybody in business and I wanted to do that. And again, I had the work ethic right. I had the ambition right. What I lacked was the knowledge. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't have the education. And so I needed to have built myself. So that 2 years was a heck of a lesson, right? I worked very hard, 6 days a week. Very long hours, and the only time I ever remember being paid was during peak season, like Christmas, Valentine's Day. But outside of that, I was literally bearing hungry for 2 years. And at the end of that period, my mother decided that you're going to go back to school. And she said if she has to sell every piece of furniture in the house, she's going to find a way for me to go to university. And she did that, and I literally scraped in with her pushing me. If it wasn't for her, it wouldn't have happened, would never. And I give her everything for that. And so I literally scraped into university, had to work and go to school. I got in at what you call lower level matriculation, which is really when you barely get in. And so I decided that I was going to work very hard. And I decided that I knew what it felt like to be at the bottom and I didn't want to be there anymore. And then she would keep repeating, the stone that the builder refuses will become the cornerstone. So when I got to the University of the West Indies, right, I worked really hard. All the lecturers knew me by name. I would sit at the front of the class. A lot of these lecturers would still remember me because I was a person who would ask a lot of questions. I really did read for my degree, and everything was applicable to me. This is why I strongly believe that there's such huge value in working and going to school. And I think if everybody had the opportunity to do that, would be better off. Because there was a big difference between myself going to university and my colleagues who had never worked. They weren't as focused. They weren't as diligent. And I had everything to lose, And so, at the end of doing my first degree. I did a degree in management studies and psychology. I actually won a scholarship to do a master's in development studies with a concentration in social policy. And that was a big thing for me because I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. Unfortunately, I won an academic scholarship. And then I did that and did exceptionally well at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies. And I graduated at the top of my class with distinction. I copped every award. And it's fascinating because I really believe that people bloom at different times. So here was a C student throughout high school who then went on to, top my cohort at the university, in postgraduate studies, we have some very distinguished politicians, and even our Prime Minister, who was in my cohort at Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies. So, we really had very brilliant people there. And, it's a testament, I think, to just the fact that, when you work hard, doesn't matter what your circumstances were before or how hard you struggled. Once you want it, and it's your time, and you own it, you can achieve it. My professional career post-university involved, teaching and research. I actually was a teaching and research assistant at the University of the West Indies. And after that, I, went into social policy. I was, my focus was really on how do I solve social problems. That was a very important thing for me. And so I worked in several different organizations, companies, but at the back of my mind, I always wanted to start a business. And let me tell you which business I wanted to start. And I don't think I've ever shared this on camera before. I know I've never. Okay, so this will be the first time I'm sharing this. Years ago, I was seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident. And I suffered head injuries. My head had to be shaved. And I actually had other complications as a result of that. And at the time, I was entitled to not only have all of my medical bills paid for, but all of the pain and suffering. There were so many other things that I was entitled to, and that nobody told me about. So here it was that I suffered this major accident, which really set me back, and nobody told me what my rights were. And it wasn't until the 6 years passed, so 6 years, where the statute of limitation has been exhausted, that's it, that I actually learned what my rights were. And so I always wanted to make an impact in the area of justice. And so that was a motivation for starting Future Services International, which is Jamaica's first legal funding and litigant support company, first in the Caribbean to offer that kind of service, where we focus on helping people who had suffered any kind of loss, injury, damage, or harm by, one, educating them about their rights, two, connecting them with legal professionals, and three, actually providing funding, right, so that what happened to me would not happen to anybody else. It wouldn't have to happen. And that company has been transformational in so many ways in this Jamaican landscape. And so many people have been able to access the formal justice system because of funding that we've provided, right? And that's something that I'm very grateful for. I think it's purpose. Sometimes we go through really horrible things, and the aim is for you to really learn and make an impact so others don't go through it. Sometimes you ask, why me? And you kind of say, well, why not me? Because I'm the person who can actually and until you felt it, you don't know what people go through. And I felt it. And so, interestingly enough, having launched Future Services and having seen clients who actually got justice, we would follow up with them, right? I'm really passionate about following up with people, see how they're doing. 6 months later, people would tell us that they exhaust their settlements. These are people who couldn't work. And so I realized that people actually needed financial advice, right? They needed to better spend this money because some of them couldn't work after. So I approached financial institutions, wrote to them, called them, would you be willing to give financial advice to our clients? And they said, no, this is not, these are not customers that we would want, because pretty much is what they were saying, because they get one-off settlements. And when they put their money in, they're just going to come and take it out. So it's expensive. They just didn't see them as valuable clients. And so you know what I did? I started doing business training for clients, started offering workshops, and that's what piqued my interest in terms of how do I actually move on to become a certified entrepreneurship trainer. And then I started doing work with the Young Entrepreneurs Association, and I realized that people needed advice and support. And then I thought about my own journey as a young entrepreneur, and that, you know, if I had the knowledge, I don't know where I would be. So I said, well, you know, let's do this on a big scale, right? Because I had been exposed to television and I had the skills. I knew how to actually try to create a program, and so that's how I actually ended up creating The Innovators, right? Which is a TV show that really has helped so many entrepreneurs. The aim is to get people to think about, how do I start a business? How do I do it in the right way? What are the resources that are available to me? And so that's the platform, and that's how I got into that. I have a new company, and it's called Market Entry USA. It's registered in the United States. And the problem that this company will solve for many Caribbean businesses is access to the US market and connections within the US market. And the reality is that governments and experts have been telling entrepreneurs for years that you cannot focus on your market alone. You have to try to export your goods and your services, and you have to find more attractive markets, and you have to earn foreign exchange. And Market Entry USA will be doing that. And that's what's exciting for 2017. One of the things that I've been very fortunate to experience is a lot of exposure globally, both on the entrepreneurial space generally, as an entrepreneurship trainer. I'm a writer for MasterCard. I'm a writer for the Sunday Gleaner, and it's Miss MasterCard Caribbean, and my articles are now translated in Spanish for MasterCard Colombia, and that's great impact, right? It means that anybody, you don't have to have any big last name, you can look just like me, and all you need is that education or the skill that you want to develop, and you can really globally make an impact. I've focused a lot on helping women. Women in business has been my passion, and young people in business as well, but especially women, because I grew up with a single mother who was an entrepreneur, who worked very hard and who just didn't have all the facilities that she needed. So it's very difficult in terms of childcare, in terms of taking care of her own, we take care of the elderly, the children, and financially it's hard, right? So I am the official representative for We Connect International in the Caribbean. I represent the Caribbean. We Connect is a global nonprofit, one of the largest and most well-respected for women entrepreneurs globally. What I've been able to do is to get We Connect to come to the Caribbean. And what We Connect does is that it enables women, business owners, who want to access global markets and global networks to do so. And it's through certification as well as education and empowerment and actual, making those connections and bringing them to the table with corporates who are actually looking to do business with women. I will focus on businesses not because they have the potential to generate huge profits. Other people can do that. We have enough of those entrepreneurs. I focus on businesses that can make this country a better place, this region a better place, this world a better place. That is my vision. And I need to do that and at the same time maintain my role as a mother, a wife, and that I also take care of Yannick. And that means that there has to be balance and harmony. So I have now I'm not afraid to say I have probably an abundance of opportunities. There is no shortage. There's an abundance. And it's very difficult for me to be able to push back and say, remember your purpose, remember your focus. And sometimes people aren't too happy because they want you to do all these things, and yes, but you just have to remember that the goal is not to be rich. The goal is to focus on where you can make the most impact and where you can add the most value and what really your purpose is. Truthfully, for young people who kind of want to figure stuff out, I'll tell you that I think the best decision I made was choosing the right partner.
I'm Butch Hendrickson. You're watching BATV, Serious About Business.
I've been married for 13 years this year, and my husband and I have 2 boys. And, you know, family is very important, right? For us, it really is the most critical thing. And so we try to make sure that we make space for that. More and more, we're focused on living a healthy lifestyle, setting a good example for the boys, spending more time with them, getting them into several activities. And really, I don't want to be that parent who is never available. And I'll tell you the truth, I remember my parents working so hard that I don't recall them picking me up from school very often. I don't recall them being at every single event. They tried, but they were so into working so hard to, you know, and I don't want to do that. And that's something that I've made a commitment that it's just not going to be me. I'm going to be that parent who makes the time to drop you at school and to pick you up, and I want to hear how your day has gone, and I want to spend time with you doing homework, and I want to kind of, you know, enjoy those moments with you so that you know that this is what matters most, you know. And my husband has very similar values, and you know, it's helpful because I think when I reflect on my journey, there are many people who have had an impact on me, and probably my biggest supporter and the person who has really made so much possible for me is my husband. And I have to recognize that you can't do it alone, and you need that strong family support. And then, you know, it helps when you have that type of partner. And, you know, truthfully, for young people who kind of want to figure stuff out, I'll tell you that I think the best decision I made was choosing the right partner. And learning very early that we were going to set certain goals and that we were going to go on this path together, because you're stronger together. I really believe that. But having an enabling relationship has been so helpful for my journey. So when I do travel, I don't necessarily have to worry because I do have that strong support. And I have a big cheerleader, and I have a sounding board. And you know, I have a friend, and that's something that is, can't trade that for the world. That's everything. What makes me jump out of bed every morning is a firm, honest belief that God has called me to this. I believe that. I believe that this is my purpose, and I believe that people are relying on me, and I can change people's lives. And I have the power to do it, and I know I have been doing it. And if I don't do it, there's going to be a void. So that's what makes me jump out, because people are relying on me in so many different spheres. For years, I've offered mentorship to younger people. I really do a lot in terms of, when I just started business, one of the things that was mandatory was that everybody had to actually give back service, and we would go to, you know, several, for example, missionaries of the poor, and we would volunteer our time. It's not just giving money; it's kind of understanding what the needs are in this country, how people are suffering, and what help you can give, and really just experiencing, because it makes you more grateful, and at the same time more determined to make an impact. And, you know, one of the best things for me recently was that I went to a pharmacy recently, and I was looking for something, and this young girl who works there said to me, I can help you, but do you remember me? But I meet so many people, so I said, I'm sure I met her, but I can't remember exactly. And she said, you know, you mentored me. I'm from the inner city and showed me the community, and you were my mentor. And her name is Casey. And she said, thank you. And it brought tears to my eyes because here was this young girl who literally every night, gunshot, you know, just, and she had blossomed into this, just this radiant, you know, just articulate, you know, just wonderful young girl. And I had had an impact in some way. And I've had other people contact me who I mentored years ago. And so if you can afford to share your time, your wisdom, anything with other people, especially those who are in the position that you were in, and my God, many of us forget where we start. That's everything. You know, it's not about the money. Not about cutting a check and you have the PR. What is that? It's not about that, right? It's about really making an impact and touching people. Everything is about people. Wealth for me is living your purpose, doing what you're passionate about, being happy while you're doing it, being happy about the person you are and that you have become, and really enjoying a wholesome life, right? Which means you don't compromise your family, you don't compromise your values, you don't compromise the things that you really stand for, and that you make an impact, a real impact. It's not about money. Not about money, it's about impact. You know, how is this country, this community, this world a better place because of what you've done? And if you really honestly can't say that you've made that impact, I don't think you're successful. I don't think you've really created any real wealth.
Out of 21 finalists in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition, the top contenders were chosen and rewarded for their contribution to social development in Jamaica. This week on Caring Hands, we introduce to you the competition's top 3 finalists. The third place finalist, the Eastwood Gardens Youth for Progress Youth Club, was started just a few years ago. One of their main focuses is the education of young people in the community.
We are 3 years old. We started in 2014 out of a need to assist the children, because in 2014, 18 of our children did the GSAT examination and only 1 passed for traditional high school, and that's what motivated the Vice President and I to start the youth club. We are coming from a community where most of us went to Meadowbrook, Immaculate, St. Andrews Girls, and these students were passing for non-traditional high school, and it was not the norm. So we saw that they needed help, so we decided to help them. And not only that, we also knew that with our youth club there will be opportunities for our youths, and we wanted to see how best we can help them. Since inception, we have created this community library and education room.
So the library was finished built in January, thanks to the Ministry of Education and Digital Foundation for the structure of the building and some of the equipment. The NCB Foundation who sponsored some printers. Books were sponsored mainly by the Rotary of Kingston and community members who we went on a book drive and we got the books donated. So the library will provide means for the kids in the community to come and read books, do homework, print homework, and also do researches, and also we have classes to teach them about the music, and Spanish, French, and everything.
We also offer music lessons. We offer piano classes and guitar classes on a Monday at 5 p.m. So every Monday at 5, the students come here and they're taught to play the guitar free of cost and the piano. We're also looking to purchase more musical equipment so that we can have a variety of instruments for the children to learn to play. They're expressing interest in the violin, so we're thinking about it. We recently got sponsorship from Australia Aid, and we're doing a recycle project called Eastwood Gardens Recycling of Plastic. Recently we had our cleanup day, which entailed cutting grass and collecting plastic bottles from the gullies and all over the community, and also taking out bulky waste out of our community. We had 4 truckloads of bulky waste that was collected, and we also collected 28 bags of plastics and a lot of garbage.
With the Eastwood Gardens Recycling of Plastics, we're trying to do a business from the project because we have a lot of recycled plastics, and reusing is better than recycling. I like to see the kids from the community be involved in that business as an entrepreneur, learning on-the-job training and personal development from being involved in that project.
The Eastwood Gardens Youth for Progress Youth Club caters directly to what persons in the community want or need.
How we identify the various projects is that we look on what is needed in the community and what is the problems and how best we can solve them.
Since the youth club has been established, the youths are more, they love to volunteer. Anytime we say we want to do something, you have a lot of persons willing to volunteer, and they're a little bit more interested in schoolwork, and we had an increase in GSAT passes in 2015 and 2016.
Quiz competition aim was for the GSAT kids that are taking GSAT to make them study more and make it more fun. And I can say for one student, his name is O'Shea, I worked closely with his team, and he was not very good in science. He was very low when he started. He came out as the top science person, so he brings out the best in the students.
The best part of being a part of the youth club is making things happen in the community and doing stuff for other persons, of course. The kids, you can see where they're very appreciative of the things that we do. So making things happen for them and things that they want to happen is very rewarding. You can see the kids are more focused in their actions, and they have things to do with their time and energy because they're very energetic, trust me. So I think if we had that in our time, we'd be more focused as well. For example, things like opportunities that they have, like learning an instrument or stuff like that. You never know. One of us could have been, very musically inclined and talented like that, but we didn't get the opportunity. So I believe if the youth club was around then, we'd see more of that.
Welcome to Marine Avenue, the home of the Eastwood Gardens Youth for Progress Youth Club.
So what inspired us to enter this Face of Change competition is the work that we have been doing over the years and assisting the youth. So we're just highlighting the good that we're doing for our community and to highlight our community. Through the Face of Change competition, persons have seen the work that we're doing and also encourage us to continue the good work.
Some of the plans that we have, the main plan is to kick off our breakfast program. A lot of time you see the children, they don't go to school. They say, why didn't you go to school today? You didn't have any lunch money. So we want to kick off our breakfast program by purchasing the stuff that we need so that we can start preparing breakfast for the children in the morning. That's the most important meal. So we're seeking sponsorship right now to cover like the fridge and the stove and the supplies that we need. But like the food items that we'll need to cook, we're going to use our recycle project funds to purchase those things. But we just need help to kick off the project off the ground. And another project that we have for the community parents is, we call it the Cassia Park Community Services. This is where we're using the skills from the parents in the community, and we're looking jobs for them so that they can help to send their children to school. So we're looking jobs for like all persons that are skilled, like the plumbers, the dressmakers, the homemakers, the persons that can wash and press and iron. we're looking jobs for them, a part of our project that we're launching called Kesha Park Community Services.
The youth club is building youths and shaping them in the right way. So we don't have much crime and violence in the community, and also helping to build Jamaica as a whole.
It's very important for these initiatives and these foundations to be around because children need help. They need guidance, they need supervision. Sometimes parents at home, they don't have time for the kids, so a youth club is something that they can channel their energy in. For example, we had sports day the other day, and I mean the whole community, every day the children come from school, they change and they're just ready. They're practicing for events that happened already. Said, why are you practicing for that? We do that already? No, they're just so interesting, they just want to do everything, and you know, it helps them because it can produce stars. You know, we see Nehemiah Perry was our coach for the cricket match, and he saw talent in two of our individuals. So, you know, things like that can help to let persons know that they exist and to give them the help that they need to succeed in life.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
You can trust princesses and ladies. Ask Digicel, they'll tell you.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Empowering our women in every aspect of their lives is extremely vital. Thanks to the second place winners in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition, hundreds of young girls are getting that empowerment from an early age.
Princesses and Ladies is an organization, non-for-profit, where we educate, empower, and help ladies and girls to be better, to do better, to behave better, to think better of themselves, and to just go for it and do best. So we came about because there was a set of ladies who, saw that at that point in the society, a lot of things were happening. A lot of child abuse, a lot of murders, there were just a lot of things going on at that point in 2013, 2014 about there. And so we decided as women and as girls, we needed a platform to speak about some of these things and to get girls and ladies to be comfortable talking about issues and to find ways how to empower them and to get past certain things. So that's how we came about. So as long as you're a girl or you're a lady and you want to speak or you want comfort or you want empowerment or you just want a friend to talk to, you are the person who we are at.
Could be. All right.
We do sessions, we do girls' days, we have events where we just invite girls and ladies to come on and just sit and have a talk. Or if you are a girl who You know, you're at a school and you see a need, you know, you see that your classmates need somebody else than their own teacher to talk to, we'll try and come and to facilitate all that we can. We definitely want to be able to impact girls. We want them to be empowered. We want them to be able to achieve certain things that they never even thought of. We want them to be able to go to the university and get certified. We want them to be able to go to Heart Trust and be able to be certified also. We want them to be able to believe in themselves and to go for whatever they want to go for.
For Simone, being able to assist others through the Princesses and Ladies Inc. is extremely important, as she's able to put herself in the shoes of other young women in need.
Well, it's important for me because being a girl, being a lady, you know, I wanted platforms to speak. I wanted a voice. I wanted an ear to listen. I wanted somewhere where, you know, it's level and whatever I say will not go against me. Girls need help. It is important for you as a Christian and as a person to just give back. And so it is important for us to be helpers. It is important for us to be there for somebody, to become that shoulder, to become that pillow for somebody else. So it is also important for us to be able to help smaller girls to grow the way they are supposed to. And we think that, you know, it will make the society better. When you have a comfortable woman at home, when you have a comfortable girl, when you have girls that are confident and that are hopeful, it makes the society better.
While the members of the Princesses and Ladies Inc. carry out their various activities, they get support from a few organizations.
So we partner with SOSOCA, we partner with Child Development Agency, we partner with several different organizations such as Ministry of Youth and Ministry of Education. We also have other partners that, you know, are not wished to be mentioned who really come on board and help us. And we also have Digicel on board with us too this year, which is such a plus. Our partner overseas, which is our CEO, she got information about the Digicel Face of Change competition and we were elated. We went on board and we came together and we said, okay, this is our big chance. This is a big platform for us. And so all of our members everywhere, in Cayman, in Africa, in the US, in Jamaica, all of us just came on because we needed help and we needed to be partnered with somebody such as Digicel that has a good name, a company that can trust, you know, a company that will always be there. So, you know, all of us just came in and did our part. Being in second place, it gave us that platform to be known. It gives us exposure. It helped us to reach others. It helps others to know about us and to be able to trust us being affiliated with Digicel. So the last time we had over 200 girls, and you know, all of those girls have potential. All of them want somebody to help them. And so back to school is a big thing. So school books, supplies, personal items, and might I say we work closely with two major girls' homes. And one of them, you know, most of those girls are mothers. And so they need stuff. They need stuff for their babies. They need personal items. So the need is great. I mean, coming to the event that we have every year in July, girls need to be fed. I mean, they need, you know, places to go and we need resources to host these things. We need tents, we need food, we need money to be able to get their stuff. So it's a lot. There are instances where we have girls who will come up to us and say, you know, I was at the event and I was going through this, and so I know that I can do this now, or I know now that I can talk to this person, or I know that this agency is able to help me. And so we feel like we're doing something, we feel like we're getting somewhere, we feel like, okay, we have contributed to some life because that same girl, she's wearing her skirts a little bit longer, she's trying to speak the Queen's English, she's doing better in school, the grades are going up, mommy's saying, okay, I mean, the behavior is sorting out, you know, we're talking more, I'm understanding her more. You have mothers who come to us and say, Miss, I really appreciate this. You know, this was happening to us, I didn't know how to deal with it, but with your help, with that session with SOSOCA, with that help with the Ministry of Education, you know, we are sorting things out and things are better at home. Jamaica, we need you. there are a lot of businesses and a lot of persons that are out there who really wants to help and they don't know who you can trust, princesses and ladies. Ask Digicel, they'll tell you. You can trust us, we need help. We need hands, we need hearts, we need help. Our main mission is to educate, empower, and to achieve however we can. So we want girls to be able to go to school, get certified, be the change, you know, stand out, be that girl that mommy wants you to be. I mean, we know that some manners, you know, things are not so well, but we know that this is the right way. And so as a girl and as a Princesses and Ladies affiliate, we are going to be that standout. We are going to be able to do all the good things that are supposed to be done and to be an overall good citizen.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
It was a combined effort that really got us to be champions.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
They say charity begins at home. For many, the first place winners in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition, the Bethel New Testament Church of God, is considered home.
Bethel New Testament Church of God has been, over the years, a church that caters to the need of the less fortunate. And we serve the community of Arnett Gardens, Lincoln Road, Russell Road, Top Jungle, and other surrounding areas. And we have been playing a vital role in offering services. We have an early childhood institution here. We have a feeding program as well. We also offer services to the community with our computer lab. So persons who are, doing like CXC, information technology, those who are doing their SBAs, they come on over and print, and just about anything that has to do with computer and information technology. We try to offer the best services we can. Our church has quite a number of programs that are running. For teenagers, we have what is called the Performing Arts Ministry. And mostly teenagers are drawn to the Performing Arts Ministry. And we have young adults who supervise them and all of that. We also have what is called the benevolence arm of the church that caters to the needs of the less fortunate. And so the benevolence arm of the church basically takes care of those who are in need, whether they are in need of food items, financial needs, and so forth.
Benevolent committee is something that goes to help people who are in need. You just don't help in just food or, you give love, you listen, you participate in their lives, whatever it is that they are in need of. The benevolent committee will try to assist in that area.
Through Food for the Poor and frequent collaborations with the Pentecostal Church on Windward Road, the Bethel New Testament Church of God is able to distribute food items to its church and community members.
When we do collect the stuff from Food for the Poor, we take a day when we'll come and we will just wrap out whatever it is to be wrapped, whether rice, peas, sausage, bean and so forth. And then now on a Sunday when we come, we'll make it announced from the rostrum to the pews of the church. Persons will come around And especially for those who are more in need, we look out for those, and especially the elderly. We cater for them first, and then for the others who are not, as less fortunate as. Because there are more who's less fortunate than others.
We try to reach as much as we can at all times, as long as we have the provision, right? So, like monthly, sometime every 6 weeks, 2 months, it depends on how we have the things. So we would reach them in that kind of a way.
So there are persons within the church. We have young, vibrant adults who participate, put on competitions. So one of the competitions, they always have a summer program, a football competition, six-a-side competition. Sometimes it is held in the churchyard, sometimes it is held on the football field. But it's a six-a-side competition that the church uses as an initiative to bring young men together, to evangelize. So we don't only just have sports, but we use it as a tool to evangelize. And what we find is that, we have a lot of young men from the community who participate. Also, we enter other competitions that are put on within the community as well. And from time to time, we have been champions in these areas because we have a very wonderful set of young people who are very competitive and they are excellent at what they do.
The Bethel New Testament Church of God is a small church in the inner city community of Arnett Gardens, South St. Andrew, Jamaica.
We heard of the Face of Change competition from a member here who introduced us to the competition, told us that Digicel Foundation has a competition going and we should enter, and it's going to take a lot of work. And so, it would be good if we could jump on board and be a part of it. And I totally agreed with it, and we sold the idea to the young people, and from the young people to the entire church. And what it took was for us to be voting every day. So what we did, we got the entire church voting. And there are some of the elders who are not so techno-savvy. We got the young people to really teach them how to use the phone to vote, how you go online and how you vote. We also got the diaspora involved in that way. Our friends and families, members of the church who are abroad, we told them about this initiative, and we told them that they need to vote, and they have to vote every day as much as they can. And they too got on board and they began to vote. And so we never let up from day one to the end. We kept on voting every day as much as we can, all day, every day. So, so it was a combined effort that really got us to be champions. One of the things it has done for me personally, and for the church as well, it has given us quite a lot of recognition. There are many persons who did not know about our church. There were even some people in the community as well who did not know about our church. And since Digicel Face of Change, persons have come to recognize us, persons have gotten the chance to know some more about us. And there are persons who have, reached out to us as well, some wanting to assist us with the programs that we do here. Our Digicel Face of Change honorarium, what we're going to be doing is building a resource center where we'll house a new computer lab fitted with an e-library to serve the entire community. So we want to let people know from now that in the future they can come here to Bethel and they can use the lab for whatever studies they're doing. They can use it for social media, whatever. So we want to offer that service so that the next generation can be able to move forward and be able to keep up with what is happening in technology.
The Word of God said we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So whatever good thing that we are wanting for ourselves, then we should want it for each other. So if there are people who are in need in different areas of their lives, then, it would be good for us to try to assist and help the best way we can.
Over time, the greatest thing that I'd love to see in the community is for the community to live in peace, for the community to embrace peace and to love each other, forgive each other, and basically have more fellowship with each other. We find out that too many of our young men are losing their lives daily. And yes, the church is praying and all of that, but if they'd only handle conflicts in a better way, then we'd have less crime and violence. So that's one of the major changes that I'd love to see. And I'd love to see not just the church, but other entities jump on board and try to assist persons who are less fortunate in whatever way they can. Because, it's better to give than to receive, as the scripture says. So if we can reach out and help somebody along the way and make a difference in their lives, I'm sure that we can, from one person to an entire community to the entire nation, we can make a change.
We applaud all entrants in the Digicel Foundation's Face of Change competition and hope that you too are inspired to give back to your community and, by extension, our nation.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.